Hi, and welcome back to some of our lectures online. I'm just going to spend about 3 or 4 minutes here, I hope not more, to discuss the budget, which I think is a pretty important element of a lot of the analysis that we do. Okay, so remember that one of the most important things about the budget is that it reflects the terms of trade that are available in the market. And the price ratio, okay, are those terms of trade. And this is the important element that we reflect when we try to put it in terms of a diagram that helps us understand some of the analytics. So, as you already know, from your notes, you can just take what the budget adds up to, the total purchase value of all your goods, and we can look easily at this and say, if I spent all my money on one good, I get that much, all my money on another good, that much, and they're joined together in linear fashion. Hence, you have a relationship between the two goods. It's a linear relationship, and you have an intercept and a slope. The slope is the price ratio. So if we had a particular budget B, we can divide the budget by the P1 and the P2, get the total amounts available there, join these two, and what do we have? Well, we have a straight line, and of course the slope is as we've already defined. Remember this, okay? So we have the price here, good 1 divided by the price of good 2, where good 1 is measured on the horizontal axis, and good 2 quantity is measured on the vertical axis. Okay? This is really important, because if you have these upside down, all your analysis goes crazy. So know how to derive it. Now, of course, we can do all sorts of simple things. First thing we could do is say, let's increase the price of good 1. And it's still increased at P11, but if the price of 1 goes up, you can buy less if you spend all your budget on that. So clearly, the movement has to be from the right to the left, indicating less of good 1 can be bought. And we often look at this and say, well, the slope of the budget line has increased. Very easy to see visually, but you have to know why it's done so and which price has changed. We can also take a look at a price reduction. In this case, if I reduce the price of good 2, I could buy more of good 2. So the maximum amount of good 2 I can now buy increases. Hence, the budget line twists up. Now note, in both cases where the prices change, we are changing the slope through that good that remain constant in the number that you could buy. So that's a rotation through, in this case, the x-axis, and the previous one was rotation through the y-axis. So we can go either way depending whether the price goes up or down. Now, I look at the budget line and say, okay, what happens if the budget changes, but the prices don't change? Well, the first thing you recognize is that the line has to move in a parallel fashion because the slope remains constant. So if in fact we were to decrease the budget, this would fall a bit. So it moves a bit to the left, and those represent all the possibilities that you could purchase with that given budget now. Note too that I didn't have to change the level of budget to change you from $100 to $80. I could have changed both prices by the same amount. So if I reduce the prices, you buy more of each good, and we have a shift, a parallel shift outwards in the budget line. If the prices increase by 20%, then that's the same as a reduction in the real budget. Those are the price changes, one good or the other, price changes for both goods, or a complete budget change are the things we want to really take out of this. This is what you have to get out of this particular talk. Finally, I want to look at generalized budgets. We do things in only 2 space because it's easy to draw, but it could be an n space, okay? N-dimensional problem. Can't draw it, but conceptually we still have the same thing. A budget is allocated among goods x1 to xn. Each has their own price, and we exhaust spending the budget because one particular good could be savings. So we can always define it as being completely expended. What we often do in economics is play games with how we group these goods. So I have here the example 1 to 20 are food and drink, 20 to 101 are manufacturers, and 101 to N are defense and security goods. So that would be 3 groupings I could have, and I could look at all the goods in group 1 as Z1 and the other Z2 and Z3. And the problem then becomes to define what sort of price index you have when you start aggregating these things. Well, these things happen all the time. As you know, we have consumer price index, and we have a food price index. So these are all about bundling up different goods and the same types of things. We could also bundle these Z1, 2, 3 into, say, W1, W2, where W1 might be simply all other goods in the economy, and W2 would be defense and security goods. So all of a sudden I can make choices between, or at least consider conceptually choices between defense and security goods and all other goods, which is what I guess governments have to do quite a bit. Okay, so that's the 2 or 3 minutes that I want to talk about. And it's repeated in the text. I've done it again because it's important. Get these things right. Put the equation down if you have to figure out which price, what price ratio is reigning on that budget line and how these things shift. Okay? Well, had fun on this one. Bye for now.